Hey guys, tomorrow is Friday the 6th of June and the new Nova Grappler Extra Booster Champions of the Cosmos will finally be available, and it has got some awesome new cards. I'm not too bothered about the new Azura Kaiser stuff, but I'm all about Stern. I really loved playing Stern back in, was it set 4? It was a fantastic deck, really applied great pressure, and these new cards add extra power and extra synergy to the deck. It could potentially rival the Beast Deities for being Nova Grappler's strongest option. I really like it. I love the artwork. I'm all about mech suits. I love robots and mech suits. One of the reasons why I love this clan so much. But yeah, we'll talk about this deck and how I run it. So this is the new Galaxy Blaukluger. This is the new Cross Ride. It's got some awesome artwork. You can check him out. He looks like a mixture between a Gundam and Gurren Lagann. Absolutely insane artwork. Here we are, the grade zeros, the trigger lineup. Nothing too out of the ordinary for me. This is my usual sort of 7 crit 5 draw sort of staple that I like to go with. We've got a mix of old and new. We've got the Red Lightning, 4 copies of him. It's so good. Basically, from the rear guard, stick it in the soul, damage on flip. There's a lot of counterblasting in this deck, so that really helps. 3 of the new crit, 4 of the new draw. Then make up the 5th draw. We've just got 1 gong because we're going to need a gong for a battle, in a wrestling match. We've got 4 of the heal, and this is the new opening guy. This guy I think is really strong, great for deck consistency. This is Morgan Rowe, or you may want to call it Morgan Rott. I can't pronounce German, I would say it was Rowe, but anyway, he's got a pretty cool artwork and has a fantastic effect. So he's obviously a forerunner, but when he's in the rear guard position, basically in layman's terms, when your Vanguard with Blau in its card name hits a Vanguard, you can counterblast 1, search the top 3 cards of your deck, and search for a card with Blau in it. Reveal it to your opponent, stick it in your hand, shuffle your deck with the other 2 into it. So that's fantastic. There's a lot of cards in this deck with Blau in its name, so it helps us with deck consistency. You know, we're counterblasting for a +1 on a hit, and the great thing is it doesn't go into the soul, it stays on rear guard, so you can do it time and time again. So here's the grade 1 lineup. We've got going for 13 grade 1s. Again, we've got mainly new cards. We all have obviously got 1 old card in there. We now have its own perfect guard. So Blau has its own perfect guard, which there's nothing different to it to a perfect guard effect, but obviously it's got Blau in its card name. We've gone for 3 of Claydol Mechanic. Again, we can need that damage unflips, and we call that to rear guard. We can unflip 1 damage, so that's great helps with our skills. This card kind of ruins it for me. It's a fantastic card, but the artwork, I hate it. Flower Ray Leprechaun. I'll talk about that card in a little while. And we've got Blade Arm Leprechaun. So this is, I guess, like the pilot of one of the Blaus. He is a 10k booster for on a Soul Blast for any Blau unit. So here we go. Here's the grade 2s. We're going for 11 grade 2s. Again, we have got a mixture of some of the old and some of the new cards. And you may be interested why I put the Blauklugers in, but I'll tell you that in a little while. So, Mars Blaukluger, very strong double R of the set. Really great card, works very well with the Leprechaun. And here it is. So how these guys work is when your Vanguard with Blau hits, you counterblast 1 for them each, and they get to stand and gain 5k. So if they are in a column with each other, they hit for 16. Then when the Vanguard hits, you throw a counterblast of 2, you get restand this whole column and it becomes a 26k column. So that's devastating, especially if you want some early game pressure. So those guys work together really nicely. We've got the Blaukluger mainly just for its Vanguard ability, for the fact that for 2 reasons. A, it's a Blaukluger, and 2, if it's the Vanguard, you know, we've got a damage on flip upon a hit. And I've also got a 12k beer. Now this guy is not a Blau unit, but it gives a 12k beer if we have got Blau. So this is the new Break Ride. This is another Blau unit, the Mond Blaukluger. He kind of reminds me a bit like something out of Zone of the Enders. He has a very cool effect as well. So when he's ridden, when the Vanguard gains 10k, and then when the Vanguard attacks, you can counterblast 1, stand all your rear guards. So that's awesome. That's so strong. It's basically where Ethics Buster is. You stand the front row for a counterblast. You get to stand all your rear guards, so very strong. And the usual Break Ride skill, when it's boosted, it gains an additional 2k. So if we did have a tough boy in there, you know, we could hit the 21s. But yeah, this is a fantastic Break Ride. Works very well with Galaxy Blaukluger. So here is the card instead of just the full art form. He is obviously going to be a limit break. Old Stern was not a limit break, so you know you could use his ability as soon as you have the 2 counterblast and you reach grade 3. But I think this one's a bit stronger. It's counterblast 2 and choose 2 cards from your hand and discard them. When a rear guard or a Vanguard with Blau hits the Vanguard, you pay the cost. and then you get to restand this unit and the unit behind it. So you need to make sure you're very careful when you attack, because with Stern it had to be the Vanguard. In this deck you have the option of a rear guard strikes the opponent's Vanguard. You can stand this guy up as well, so it gives you more chances to do it, but you've got to be careful of when you do it, and it's very key on how you play the deck. So here we go, here's some situation we're going to be in. You know, we've gone second, our opponent has struck us twice, we've gone to our grade 2 ride, and we've gone with Blaukluger. So this is why he's in the deck. So we attack with these guys, there goes 16k column. Now we're going to attack with Blaukluger, this is going to be 14. But our opponent no guards. On a single counterblast, we look at the top 3 and search for a Blau, put it into our hand. Then Blaukluger's skill comes in, and we get to unflip the damage, giving us the 2-3 damage because a Blaukluger hit. We can counterblast 2, restand that column, and you know, it comes to 26k column, so that's great for really early game pressure, and it's not going to be too hard to unflip those 2 damage. So now we're on break ride turn. We had the we break ride into Blaukluger. We replaced Morgan Rowe with the new Leprechaun dude. So we've got attack number 1, 16,000. Attack number 2, 19,000. Then we go for the Vanguard. I'll have the limit break, 31. Counterblast 1, stand all rear guard. So this is a big attack to the Vanguard. Then another 16k from the rear guard. Now let's say this time it hits. We can pay the cost. Counterblast 2, discard 2, stand the Vanguard. Then we can attack with the rear guard once more. Will be for 19,000 at the opposing Vanguard, and that way we can attack with the Vanguard again with the 4th open counterblast. We get to restand all our rear guards again to get a 7th attack, and then finally an 8th attack. So that's not taking into consideration any triggers what we could get whatsoever, but that's 8 attacks in total with 4 open counterblasts, and all we needed was 1 Blau unit to hit a Vanguard. So obviously that first attack could be maybe going after a rear guard, but that's 167,000 and 8 attacks. That's without any triggers. That is gonna must win you the game, surely. That is absolutely outrageous. So here's some other options. You could go maybe for some tough boys, like I said, to hit those 21,000s. If you don't want to go for Blaukluger, you could go for a solid 10k ride with the Jupiter Blaukluger, because obviously normal Blaukluger has no effect on the rear guard. This gives you extra power. And then you've got Polar Stern, that's the 10k grade 1. Hasn't got Blaukluger in its name, so I'd much rather have the Claydol mechanics in my opinion. And if you don't want to go break ride at all, you can obviously go for the full ride chain, you know, from Blau Younger, Blau Panzer, Blaukluger, Stern Blaukluger, and then go into the Galaxy, which obviously allows you to be a 13k Vanguard, which helps you a lot more on the defense side. But I personally prefer the way I've set the guys out. You know, more offensive, definitely, because you've got Blau Panzer's okay, but it's only a 6k booster. You know, we'd rather have cards that can do things and have great effects. So that's the power of the deck, and that's basically how I'm going to be playing it. I really think it's definitely up there top tier. From playing just with that Morgan Rowe, that consistency of that counterblasting 1 and drawing, you've got 7 different ways, in fact more than that, 11 different ways of unflipping damage. It's absolutely fantastic. So please like, comment, subscribe. Catch you later. Adios.